This hearing turned explosive when Senator Hirono confronted Emil Bove with allegations of abusive behavior and a judge's rebuke of his supervision, and his responses raised even more questions. What you're about to watch is one of the most revealing nomination clashes yet.
I'll ask you, Mr. Bove, since you became a legal adult, have you made unwanted requests for sexual favors or committed any verbal or physical harassment or assault of a sexual nature?
No.
Have you ever faced discipline or entered into a settlement relating to this kind of conduct?
No.
In the February 23rd, 2025 report in Politico, the title was, quote, "Before he became Trump's bulldog, Emil Bove was nearly demoted for bellicose management style," end quote. According to this article, which was put into the record, when you served as a unit chief at the Southern District of New York, and I'm again quoting this article, Mr. Bove quickly garnered a reputation as a manager who was sharply critical of the people who worked for him and unable to control his anger. His conduct was abusive, according to one former member of the unit. Are you familiar with this article?
I am.
Okay. So going on, according to this article, in 2020 or early 2021, the Executive Committee of the U.S. Attorney's Office opened a formal inquiry into Bove's management style. They interviewed prosecutors who worked for him about his behavior, and they decided that he should be removed from his role as a supervisor, end quote. Of course, you are aware of this inquiry and their recommendation.
As
Yes?
well as the fact
No?
that I was not removed.
Yes?
I was not removed, Senator.
Can you speak into the mic so we can all hear your answers, please?
I apologize. I was not removed, Senator.
I know you were not removed because the article goes on to say that when this committee decided to demote you and remove you, you pleaded with them to allow you to remain in your job, and you pledged that you would commit to improving your behavior. Did you do that? Did you request they not remove you? Did you plead that you not be removed and that you would change your behavior?
That
No.
That characterization is not accurate, Senator.
So you did not change your behavior at all, or did you?
Senator, I'm not perfect. And so when I get constructive criticism,
Speak into the mic, please.
When I get constructive criticism, I absolutely take account of that and try and be better at my job. And I did that in that instance. But the characterization in that article by anonymous sources from a whisper campaign from SDNY alums is not accurate.
The fact of the matter is, though, this committee did talk to people who worked for you, and they concluded that you engaged in abusive behavior and that you should be removed, but you got to stay. And the article, you disagree with the characterization, but why would they go through all this trouble to investigate and all of that? And they let you stay. Unless I hope that you had said, well, you would change your behavior. Because the attitude, the behavior of a judge, I think is, that is important for us to understand. During your time as a supervisor in the Southern District of New York, you supervised a team that prosecuted U.S. v. Alisater. You supervised them.
Yes.
And in that case, prosecutors failed to disclose evidence to the point where, even though there was a judgment of guilty, so it resulted in the jury's verdict being overturned and the charges dropped. And the district court wrote, which I think is pretty unusual, that there was, and I quote the district court, insufficient supervision. You acknowledged just now that you were the supervisor. Insufficient supervision of disclosure obligations by the USAO's unit chiefs. Do you recall the court making that assessment of your supervisory capability?
I do, Senator. And I respect Judge Nathan, and I think that what she was trying to accomplish in that decision was to make sure that there were protections in place.
Okay, I am running out of time. I just wanted to do, you had said that the January 6 prosecutions were a grave injustice. So does that mean that you agreed with President Trump's pardon of all of the convicted felons?
I'm not in a position as a nominee senator to comment on any president's use of the pardon power, which is committed to presidents.
Once again, I should think that because you characterize those prosecutions as a grave injustice, I would think that you would be happy that the president pardoned everybody. Thank you.
What just unfolded in this hearing isn't just a tense back and forth. It's a rare moment where the veneer of a polished nomination hearing drops, revealing something far more human, far more uncomfortable, and far more telling. Senator Mazie Hirono steps into her line of questioning with the same discipline she applies to every nominee: baseline integrity questions, the ones that signal whether someone should hold a position of immense public trust. But for Emil Bove, those routine questions immediately begin to intersect with a very specific and widely circulated controversy about his past behavior. What makes this moment so gripping is the clash between two realities: Bove's confident denial of misconduct and the detailed reporting that paints a very different picture of his management style. The Politico article isn't vague. It cites colleagues, describes anger issues, alleges abusive supervision, and even outlines a formal inquiry and a recommendation for his removal. When Hirono walks through it line by line, you can feel the room tighten. Suddenly, this isn't an abstract debate about qualifications. It's a question of temperament, humility, honesty, and self-awareness, traits foundational for anyone who hopes to become a judge. And Bove's responses create a deeper tension. He rejects the characterization, dismisses the reporting as a whisper campaign, and acknowledges taking constructive criticism, but only in the broadest sense. That evasiveness forces Hirono to dig harder. Viewers watching can sense that she's probing not simply the allegation itself, but the nominee's ability to confront uncomfortable truths about his own leadership and decision-making. That's the true test for someone seeking judicial authority. Not whether they were perfect in the past, but whether they can own mistakes, absorb criticism, and evolve. Bove's reluctance to acknowledge the full gravity of the concerns raises the exact kind of doubt Hirono is trying to surface. And then comes the pivotal moment, the Alice Sator case, a real-world consequence, not opinion. A judge overturning a jury verdict due to insufficient supervision that fell under Bove's responsibility. This isn't about rumors or personality conflicts. It's about legal outcomes, ethical obligations, constitutional guarantees. When evidence is improperly disclosed, it undermines the fairness of the entire process. Hirono connects that documented failure to the broader question of how Bove manages, how he oversees others, and whether he exercises the judgment expected of someone aspiring to the federal bench. The exchange becomes even more charged when Hirono brings up Bove's labeling of the January 6 prosecutions as a grave injustice. That statement places him squarely in the crosshairs of one of the most consequential legal, political, and moral issues of our time. Asking him to connect his past criticism to Trump's blanket pardons isn't a trap, it's a test of consistency. If he believed the prosecutions were unjust, why not commend the pardons? But Bove retreats, refusing to comment, a pattern viewers may recognize from earlier questions. When pressed on his past statements, he sidesteps. When challenged on accountability, he redirects. When given a chance to clarify or reaffirm a principled belief, he declines. This is where the commentary becomes bigger than this single nominee. What we see here is a broader struggle over who gets to shape our legal system, how transparent they must be about their past behavior, and whether political alignment can override substantive performance and documented concerns. Hirono's insistence isn't personal, it's structural. Judges wield enormous power over due process, over individual liberty, over the interpretation of law itself. If a nominee bristles, deflects, or minimizes when asked about abusive behavior or overturned verdicts, what happens when real accountability is required from the bench? Moments like this matter. They remind us that behind every judicial nomination lies not just a resume, but a human being whose decisions, temperament, and character will resonate through courtrooms for decades. And as viewers, we're reminded of why these hearings deserve attention, because transparency isn't comfortable, but it is necessary. Because democracy doesn't just depend on who enforces the law, it depends on who we trust to interpret it fairly, consistently, and without fear of scrutiny. If you value an independent judiciary, if you believe accountability matters, and if you want to see deeper breakdowns like this, stay tuned. These hearings are shaping the future in real time, and understanding them is part of shaping it too. Don't forget to subscribe and share so more people can follow these pivotal moments.